Riverside.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Live from the Bench. It is I, your host, Mr. GQ, and I'm joined today. I will not be joined today by Boulevard. I'll be joined today by RomeyRome. He is going to be the special guest for the day because today's episode has a very special meaning. So, everybody, welcome Mr. RomeyRome to the show.
How y'all doing, man? Thank y'all for having me.
I just want to apologize for the baby in the background. She's having a hard time, but yeah. Today's episode is going to be geared around the state of the franchise for the Washington Commanders. You're a Washington Commanders fan, so I feel like you're probably the person that we need to have on the show. So, welcome to the show.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm trying to hold it down for my squad, man. Give y'all some intel.
So I got a nice presentation I'm gonna add to the show. So I think some shows they really work when you have a little visual aids. So I'm gonna add something to it. I got you a nice Washington Commanders.
I love it, man. As many W's as possible, man.
Okay, so heading into the off season, getting ready to head a draft next month. The Washington Commanders are pretty aggressive this off season, and I got some of the bigger pickups that they've made over the past few weeks. And I'm gonna get your input. What do you think of these pickups?
Honestly, I'm real excited about the pickups we made, man. I'll say being a Commander / Washington football / Redskins fan, it's I feel sometimes in free agency we get delusionally optimistic with some of the pickups. Like, what do we get? Like Carson Wentz or like the William Jackson the thirds and everything. Like, we always get players that it seems like it never match like what we're trying to do. Like, we never have an identity, and I feel like this free agency, Dan Quinn and our new GM Adam Peters really stuck to the identity that they're looking for. As far as explosive players, on defense, a lot of physical players like Frankie Louvu, like that's probably one of my favorite pickups because it's such a underrated move for us. Just in the league, but he's real productive and he fits what we're trying to do. So I feel like when you watch the Commanders this year, like you're going to see like, okay, this is what the Commanders are. Like these players are fast. Like they're playing with attitude this year. Like everything just comes together. It's not like, we're getting free agents and we have to adjust to them. Like everybody we got is going to fit the scheme that we're doing this year, offensively and defensively.
Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. You're the guest.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and then pulling a Bobby Wagner, like that just shows like when you pull somebody of that magnitude, it just shows like how much players respect playing for Dan Quinn, because he played for Dan Quinn and our linebackers coach when they was with Seattle with the old Legion of Boom, and I think that move surprised a lot of people. I know he's up there in age, but like coming off of probably one of his best statistical seasons in his career, it's big that he decided to come play for us. So it's exciting to see we have linebackers behind Deron Payne and Jonathan. Now I feel like we never had that with them on this team. And so still got question marks, but it filled a lot of holes. It makes it so the draft I feel like we're not going to be reaching for players because we have so many needs. And then the fact Adam Peters did all these moves and we still have I think we're still number one in cap space right now. Just speaks
Mhm.
to things are just being done differently, and I'm definitely excited as a Commanders fan.
So, me as an Eagles fan, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
ahead and say that I was really upset by the pickups that the Washington Commanders made. I was hoping that they were gonna err on the side of the Dallas Cowboys and not pick up anyone. Um, and then just looking at the pickups they made, okay, Marcus Mariota, I wasn't too upset about that one.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Um, but then they got Austin Eckler, and I'm like, oh. Then they picked up
Yeah.
Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz may be a bit older. He's probably not putting the same productivity out, but
Mhm.
I would have wished he come back to Philly instead of going to Washington. I was
Yes.
not for that. And then they just picked up Allegretti and Tyler Biadasz. Those guys are superstar offensive line. They're going to change production, which was one of the things that Washington was very weak at, was protecting
Mhm.
that quarterback last season, Sam Howell, which I feel uh, them letting go Sam Howell. I was a big fan of Sam Howell last year. I felt
Yeah.
like he
Same.
didn't get the respect that he deserved. I liked him. I was hoping he was gonna. I felt like if he would have stayed this year instead of trading him, he probably would have been very good with these
Mhm.
changes. It didn't look like they made any changes on bringing any weapons offensively, but
Mhm.
I mean, you still, I believe Terry McLaurin's still there. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Uh, so I feel
Yeah.
like they still have a solid receiving core.
Mhm.
And then the Frankie Louvu, just the
Mhm.
Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah.
That's just going to add to that rotation on that D line,
Mhm.
and nice little replacement for Chase Young and Montez Sweat. I mean, they may not be better than those guys, but I mean, Montez Sweat definitely became somebody that I didn't expect he was going to be. Very
Yeah.
productive. Chase Young probably let a lot of people down, but he's going to have his opportunity to redeem himself. But I like Dorrance Armstrong.
Mhm.
I know the Cowboys probably hate it. Uh,
Mhm.
Cleveland Farrell, he was probably a nice guy off a rotation, same as Dante Fowler. Then Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. That bothered
Yeah.
me so much because these are
Yeah.
guys that I wanted Philly to go after. I wanted Philly to go after either one of those guys, and you got both of them.
Mhm.
And then Jeremy Chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I wanted that
Yeah.
guy. That's the guy I wanted. I was like, I didn't care about Justin Simmons. I said, go get Jeremy Chin because Jeremy Chin's 25, 26. Get me
Mhm.
Jeremy Chin. He's still young. He can play in the box. He can
Mhm.
cover. Man, I
And
feel
he
like
was
the
he.
Washington immediately a
Um.
better team.
Yeah. Yeah. And to piggyback off of Jeremy Shin, like he was really underused these last couple of years with the defensive coordinator for Carolina now. Even though he's a real good defensive coordinator, but I just feel like he didn't use Jeremy Shin the way he was used his rookie and sophomore year. So, you know, I feel like because that's one of the things he talked about during his press conference. He was like, "Man, I can't wait to come to Washington because he was real excited about the way that we were going to use him. I think he's labeled as an outside linebacker on our website, which
Wow.
kind of yeah, it kind of speaks to like how like the versatility that we're going to use him. Like I'm sure he's going to play some safety too, but I feel like
Yeah.
he's going to be more that linebacker safety hybrid, and like you
Mm,
said, in the box where he
yeah.
belongs. And I think he's going to have a big year, and it's a 1 year deal. So it's he does
Ooh,
what he need to do, then he can get that contract. Definitely bring him back, and
yes.
I think it's a huge upgrade from Cameron Curl. Well, I ain't even gonna say a huge upgrade, but because Cameron Curl, I can't knock what he did here. He was real good, but I mean, you got somebody now who's bigger, faster, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it can still give you the same production coverage wise. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, and the D line, Dorrance Armstrong, Clean Farrell, Dante Fowler. You know, our general manager pretty much came in here and said, "I don't like this roster." I mean, and I'll give you a couple of players that's not even on this list. Well, let me see. I think they are, but like Tyler Ott, like the long snapper, like it's like from the outside looking in, it's a move that doesn't seem like it matters, but for Commanders fans, we literally drafted a long snapper. We traded up for our last long snapper in the fourth round, and
Wow.
last year he was literally just dribbling
Mm-hmm.
hikes to the to the placeholder, and it was messing up kicks. Like it was like a clear issue, and he was trying this new snap, and it wasn't working. So you know, it got to the point where they had to let him go. I mean, it was long overdue, but I am excited to have a long snapper that I know we're not going to have to worry about. Like, we shouldn't have to be talking about that position. And even Adam Peters, like, nah, that has to change. We even got a new kicker in with McManus
Yes.
from Denver. So I feel like that's an upgrade. Joey Sly wasn't too bad last year. And like I said, some of it can be due to the long snapper and throwing off the
Mm-hmm.
timing of the kicks. But I mean, McManus is somebody like I know I pick up in fantasy like every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while
Yep.
because he's reliable. And so it's even the little things like that he tackled. And then I'll give you one more. Michael Davis is that's one of our latest moves that I'm really excited about because I mean, you let go Kendall Fuller, you get Michael Davis from the Chargers. You know, he's 6'2", you know, runs a 4.3. And he's kind of up and down when it comes to his production and seasons. But when he's up, like he's covering the number one receivers, and you know he's doing a good job at it. So I'm excited about that move. I don't think that move is getting talked about enough. I feel like that could be like the Frankie Louvu of the cornerback positions, where it's like
Mhm.
it's a I mean, people know Frankie Louvu, but he's not like a household name. You know what I mean? And Michael Davis, like I'm sure, like Chargers fans know Michael Davis, but he's not a household name. But if you're successful here in Washington, like we're one of those markets, just like Philly and New York and Dallas. Like you know, you do it here, like you're gonna blow up over here. So
It's a championship team, so yeah, 100%.
yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah,
Lay down, lay down.
and and I will say like leaving us, like I was kind of jealous of your guys' off season as well. I mean, um, I definitely like the Bryce Huff signing to go with that rotation of pass rushers you guys got, and then Saquon Barkley, of course. Like I mean, we're like the only team in the NFC East that has a problem with the Giants. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why. Like with Saquon, I'm so glad he's leaving the Giants because now I know we can finally beat the Giants. But now he's going to you guys, so you know that's going to make that matchup a little harder. And then yeah, Devin White. I mean, if you guys can get the most out of Devin White, that's a huge pickup. Um, I feel like it was kind of a rebuttal to our Bobby Wagner though,
Yeah, it was. It was. It
because we
was.
got Bobby, and then next thing you know, y'all got Devin White. Um, but it's he's a question mark, but like man, if you can get Devin White to play like he's capable of playing, then yeah, I think he takes our defense to another level. Um, so and then C.J. Gardner Johnson, like that was cool getting him back for y'all. I'm hoping y'all don't get Justin Simmons. Um, he's a Virginia guy, so I would like for him to come
Yes.
home.
Well, I think what Bobby Wagner brings to the team
Hmm.
alone, despite his his age, even if his skill set might have like declined due to his age, I feel like he's still going to be able to perform at a high level as far as like that team captain or that team leader. Like he's going to help those guys around him perform better, and I think that's just like a really good pickup for the Commanders, especially
Yeah.
after losing Khalid Hudson, Cody Barton,
Yeah.
and Cameron Crowe. You lose those captains, and then you got to bring in
Yeah.
somebody. I feel like you look at the losses because that's what I was doing on my phone. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at what the Commanders lost as opposed to what they went and picked up, and I'm like, it's essentially an upgrade. You upgraded
Oh yeah.
what you lost. I feel like
Oh yeah.
Losing Curtis Samuel, okay. You'll probably approach that in the draft. Losing Jacoby Brissett, not really, not really a big impact loss. Um, j- uh, sorry about the baby.
Oh no, you good.
Like the losses weren't that big of. The losses didn't really impact you because of what you brought in. You changed the demographic of the team. You changed the impact. These moves are big impacts for the team. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what's going to happen.
And I literally just thought about this, but sorry about that. The one thing that I noticed that Adam Peters has done is, I would say, the needs of this team, because we still have left tackle, which is a glaring need, and I'll say both tackle positions, honestly, and then maybe wide receiver too, like you can consider that a need for us, because I do feel like they're going to put Jahan in the slot this year, and I think he'll be real productive there, but I feel like he left the needs to the deeper positions in the draft,
Yeah,
which is smart. I just thought about that because this is a real deep tackle draft. This is a real deep wide receiver draft, and you know now we don't have to reach for like a defensive end where outside of maybe the first five guys, that might all go in the first round. It's not too deep. Um, and then same thing with linebacker and cornerback and all that. So it's it's a smart approach, and it's a. I feel like this this leadership, like the GM and everybody, like they're in tune with what the fans have been asking for so long. Like I watch so many Commanders YouTube pages, and
look at
they're
mine.
just like, man, we need to go after this, and that. And Ron Rivera and Co would just get some completely different guys like bargain shop, and I feel like they looked at player first. Like, well, I feel like they looked at the person first with Ron Rivera, and then the player.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you're a good person, you know what I mean? Because Ron Rivera was coming in to change the identity of the team because it was under a lot of turmoil. So I feel like he was just trying to bring like good guys first, and then he felt like he can turn them into a good player.
Yeah,
Which the players weren't bad, but I just feel like he was just like, it was just no identity outside of these are good guys.
right.
Um, Dan Quinn is they're looking at player first. Like, what do you bring that's going to help this team, and and how do you fit? They fit. They're bringing players that fit, and you look at what Adam Peters did in San Francisco. Like San Francisco is constantly just drafting like all pros or um solid starters or players that might not, they might be so deep that a player goes somewhere else and they take off elsewhere. Like Aziz Alshire from Tennessee, who's now with the Texans. But that was somebody that I wanted us to get. But it's just players like that. Like he was brought in as an undrafted free agent from the 49ers, and he took off elsewhere. So it's just like when you just know talent, like, you know, it's just going to benefit your team a lot. Building through the draft the right way. So
Yes.
I'm excited to see the draft. We got hella draft picks too. So
So you guys pick. Speaking of the draft, you guys pick second overall. Where do you want them to go with that second overall pick?
definitely quarterback. I feel like you gotta get your quarterback. And like fortunate for us, we can't get Caleb. We can't bring Caleb back to DC, which a lot of people want. But unless Caleb pulls a Eli Manning, then, that'll make draft day interesting. But um, my pick is Jaden Daniels for sure. Um, I like Drake May. If we got Drake May, I wouldn't be mad at all because I feel like Cliff Kingsbury is good at developing quarterbacks. So either one, I feel like he can do something with. I just feel like Jaden Daniels is ready now, and
Yes.
he possesses a skill set that Drake May just doesn't have. Like he has it, like, and that's like mobility. Like they both can throw very well to me, but I feel like Jaden Daniels is a little bit more consistent. But man, when he runs, I mean, I feel like I mean, Drake May, he'll run for like maybe a good 10 or 15 yards. Cool, it's a first down nonetheless. But Jaden Daniels can rush for like, if you miss, he'll go for like 30 or 40 yards. You know what I mean? Like he'll flip the field on you and
Yes.
just like that. And that's, I mean, it's something special that not a lot of quarterbacks have, even if they have it. Like, he kind of gives me like a RG3 feel, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes. But he's just a little taller and definitely more skinnier, but you know,
Mhm.
he doesn't have a large injury history, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, that's significant. That's significant
Hmm
for a quarterback who is a mobile quarterback. So
hmm Yeah, and he can throw that ball, man. I think people always look at his running, but I know he has some real good wide receivers over there, but man, he can throw that ball, man, with the best of them. So you
okay,
know,
so I want to get into the next part of the next question or next
Mhm.
topic on the it's probably something that you probably haven't gotten the chance to really like harp your feelings on or talk about much. But
Mhm.
the new ownership. Do you think the
Mhm.
new ownership of Magic, Magic,
Josh Allen. Well, no, I said Josh Allen. Josh
can't,
Harris.
yeah, that guy. Do you
Mhm.
think that the new ownership is necessarily going to help the organization become better, or has what um, he who should not be named
Yeah.
should, is the damage that he done is that he set the organization so far back that it's going to take them a long time.
Um, I think this ownership is going to do fine, and I think the rebuild of this team is going to happen a lot quicker than a lot of people think. Um, I mean, every like this is such a unique offseason because I feel like this is the first year Josh Harris can really like kind of do his thing as an owner and kind of set his foundation for the team. And it's like at every level, it's like man, like it's just a surprise of like how deep it gets. Like for example, even getting Josh Harris, it's like okay, we've been hearing about Josh Harris, but once he inherited the team, it's like okay, he's bringing Mitchell Rails along, which is
Yeah.
one of the most wealthiest business owners in DC. So the connections there should be good as far as getting us back in the RFK Stadium. and then Magic Johnson. You're just like you're just like, hold on, man. Like
Yeah.
like it's like you just building like a super team of owners. You know what I mean? It feels like and and Magic wins everywhere he goes.
Yes.
And then you look at Josh Harris, like what he did for the 76ers when he inherited them, like 76ers were terrible, but now you guys are constantly competing for championships. I mean, you might not get there, but
Yeah.
I
We're in
mean,
the
you not
conversation.
far. Yeah, you're in the
Yeah.
conversation. And and he did it for the New Jersey Devils too. And
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of people like to when they think of Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, they're just like, oh, these are basketball guys. And how's that going to be in the football side? And I'm like, nah, these are sports guys because they've done it in different sports. So
Exactly.
they just haven't done it in football yet. But I mean, if you can do it in different sports, I mean, football it shouldn't be no different. And so I mean, you had that, and then he's he's nothing like he who shall not be named. Um, he doesn't have the ego he had. I mean, you look at the GM search. I mean, as soon as the season was over, he let go Ron Rivera, and then bombshell, he hires Bob Myers and Rich Spielman
Mm-hmm.
to be consultants for his GM hire. So he did one of the most well-respected basketball guys and a well-respected football guy because he knows he can't do this alone, and he understands
Yeah.
how important this is. And it's like, okay, let me get some help and make sure I do it right. Where Dan Snyder would have been like, oh, you know, he's just going to hire it. We would have had Bill Belichick as
Yeah.
team president, head coach, and all that. And
Yeah.
so,
Both. Yeah. He knew better than anybody else. He didn't
mhm,
think that anybody else could tell him anything.
right, right. So it's just like when you just see how the moves are being made and how thorough the process is, and then you're just able to attract the um Adam Peters, who was the hottest name uh in the GM search, and he still had to compete with Ian what is it, Cunningham? Ian Cunningham from the Bears. I think he was like the assistant GM from the Bears. Um, Pretty much like Josh Harris had like some of the best names come in, and it was real fast. He was just hitting these interviews real fast, and then he put it down to two, Adam Pierce and Ian Cunningham, and had them meet with Magic Johnson and the rest, and you know came up with Adam Peters, and it's like it's just like everything is just real thorough. Everything is just it's being done right, and I feel when you bring the right people, it won't take long.
I
I
agree.
I feel like we can be in the trajectory of the Houston Texans.
So, yeah, I agree with you. This organization, I mean, it's my namesake. So, I grew up in Baltimore.
Mm.
Uh, Spent some time right up the street from what they used to call it, PSI Net Stadium.
Oh, okay,
I was there back when
yeah,
Cal Ripken hit that what was it, 31-21 or something like that.
something like that. He was
Yeah,
going
and
over there
back
too.
when he was promoting the Mind Eraser commercial, that commercial gave me
Oh man.
PTSD. Um, but yeah, so back, yeah, I was. So I mean, that was right up the street. So I understand. Um, I understand the whole lore behind it, but
Hmm.
that the I felt like the previous owner. I was scared for Josh Harris when he was coming in because I'm like he's inheriting a lot of turmoil and it's going to take a lot of skills to flip that team back off its
Mm.
off its butt. But he did a damn good job with the delegating, like to mention the people he brought in to not only help him find the GM, but help him. Like I just feel like that's just a very unselfish thing and a very uh very CEO. mentality. Like you would want to be an effective leader. You got to go out there and get people to help you do that. Like it can't always be done by yourself. And I feel like that's a very like you give kudos to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with Josh Harris coming in, do you think you guys are still going to be sporting that W on your on the helmets, or do you think we'll see the return of the
Of the
Indian?
Indian. Yeah. Um, Honestly, at this point, I don't know. I just know I'm tired of buying jerseys. So I'm tired of buying jerseys, man. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they kept Commanders, but maybe they just alter the uniforms a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe I mean I like the red uniforms, you know what I mean? It's pretty basic, but like I don't know. Like the red on red or the red on white, like I like those. I like the black on blacks, but I feel like there's room for improvement when it comes to those.
yeah,
And the white jerseys look nothing like none of the jerseys look alike. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it look
100%.
like you're playing another team like every
Yeah,
single time.
when
And
they,
so it's like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say when they announced the jerseys, I was not happy at all. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was
And
hoping to
it's
play with them on Madden.
man, and it's like they were hyping up the jersey so much. Like you'll watch videos from the team site and you'll see like little insight on how they were trying to come up with a team name and everything. And they kind of built up the jersey like, oh man, like man, these jerseys are clean, man. Like these are gonna be some good jerseys. Y'all gonna be excited. And then the day the jerseys drop, man, the name drop, I'm just like, man,
Major League overload.
y'all really don't care about us, man. Like y'all, like you really like making us like we have to us as fans have to defend this. You know what I mean? And it's like y'all gonna lose fans, man.
Yeah,
I feel like if Josh Harris was here during that time, we wouldn't even be the Commanders. I feel like we would have been the Red Wolves, which was a name that a lot of fans like voted for. Like that was the
yeah,
favorite name. And it was so like favored that in one of those videos from the team site, they even had to explain that Red Wolves wouldn't be the name, and the reason why was because of legal issues with some college that had Red Wolves. And I'm
mm,
just like, so y'all couldn't pay them they little money and you know took over the name. Like how many teams there's major league teams that have the same name
yes,
from each other, and
yes.
y'all let this little college get in the way. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like this was more the personality of the last regime, but I don't think Magic gonna let us. I think at the very least the jerseys like get tuned up a little bit,
Yes,
But
I hope so.
I don't know if he go to Redskins again. There's a lot of media turmoil behind that, so
Yeah,
um,
I
that's
feel like
that's
once you
really the reason
change,
why. Hmm.
you change. There ain't no point going back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tied buying jerseys, man.
Okay. So I have one more question before we end this episode. And it's probably going to be a tough one for you. How
Okay.
long do you think it'll be before the Commanders are contenders again?
Forward contenders again. Um, Realistically, uh, I'll say about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, because I think this year I could see us winning about maybe 7 to 8 games this year,
Mm-hmm.
and then there'll be a certain energy going on, and maybe there's a chance with the off season we have, like we draft well, it could be faster than that. It could be one of those RG3 years where maybe we start off a little slow, but when it clicks, like we're just rolling, and next thing you know, we're in the playoffs, and the next year, we might. That's when you start attracting those big name free agents, and you know, granted we just have a lot of money, which we're still projected to have like I want to say
Yeah.
like $99 million or something like that in cap space next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, we have a lot of money. Like, you can get those big names to start coming in. And it just makes us more competitive. And then, by year three, we should be looked at as a contender. Like, this is okay. The Commanders is going to be like we're expecting them to be in the playoffs, and you know what I mean. Like, we get Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels probably looked at as one of the best quarterbacks in the division and maybe the NFC, and all that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, or Drake May, whichever way we decide to go. But I definitely think I'll say realistically 2 or 3 years. Um, but we could surprise this year. I'm gonna be humble and say 7 games because I definitely don't see with these upgrades being a 4-win team again.
Oh no. I
Yeah,
I feel like the Giants will probably be the 4-win team this year if they get that many
yeah,
wins this year.
yeah,
I see the way I'm looking at it. I feel like Eagles will continue to spearhead the division because they can only
yeah.
beat themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Commanders are very close. They're at that point where I feel like Commanders have done enough this year, this offseason, to where
Mm-hmm.
they're competing for that second spot.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them winning 8 or 9 games this offseason. I mean, this season coming
Mm-hmm.
up, and Dallas only getting 8 or 9 wins
Yeah,
because of them not doing anything to improve their team in the offseason.
yeah, yeah. I'll
They
say this,
didn't.
man. Howie Roseman got some competition in the division now as far as GMs go.
Yes, and I
So
love it. I love that. I love
yeah,
that. I'm
he needed
excited
some.
about that.
Yeah, he needed some. So I can see it being something where Commanders and Eagles is you know maybe the new rivalry. You know what I mean? Um, that the Redskins and Cowboys thing is you know the whole background of that. I feel like is gone. You know what I mean? It might be a Philly Commanders thing now. But I wouldn't
Hmm.
sleep on the Giants though. They got one hell of a defensive line. I'll tell you that. They
I'm
can
going to
knock
sleep
out
on
that
the
quarterback.
Giants
Yeah.
as long as they don't have. As long as Daniel Jones is throwing the ball, I'm going to sleep on him all day.
Do you think he's going to throw it this year?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have no
I
choice
hope
but to
so.
keep him. They have no choice. They committed to him. They
Yeah.
gave him all that money.
I mean, they say they're looking at JJ McCartney.
I
We'll
don't.
see. I mean, I still wouldn't fare him, but that's definitely an upgrade over Daniel Jones.
It's definitely an upgrade. I think anybody is an upgrade over Daniel
Yeah.
Jones. I am not. I was never when Daniel Jones was drafted. I'm surprised their GM didn't get fired right then and there.
Yeah.
Like they let that man
Yeah.
finish the draft, but it's just that is bad. They committed to the wrong guy, and just the
Hmm.
reason Saquon left. Um, I got uh, a couple questions. Then we're gonna
Hmm.
duck out.
Cool.
Um, did you participate in the bracket this year? Just wondering how your
Uh
bracket looked.
man, I didn't, man. I'm not gonna lie, like when it comes to at least men's college basketball for me, it's been hard to watch because I usually watch when there's like really good prospects in college basketball. And I feel like G League Ignite and all of them, like they're
Mhm.
taking those players away.
Yes.
And so it's like you can watch the team, you can watch it for like, the atmosphere and all that, but it's like, where's the Zion Williamsons and all that?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's gonna pull me in. I might watch next year though, because there's a couple of good ones coming out. That's coming into college next year. But I can't say I've been watching though. I watched Kentucky go down, man. I know that ruined a lot of brackets right there.
So I was 100% betting on a Cinderella story. I picked UVM to win it all. Biggest
Oh
mistake
yeah.
of my life. My bracket done. I'm done. I'm saying goodbye. I'm waving from the sidelines.
But I feel like you have to do stuff like that though, because you can't. you can't just go with the favorites all the way. Like you
Yeah.
gotta pick one because it's gonna happen. It happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know where it's gonna come from.
Yeah, I picked
But
UEM.
yeah.
All right,
Man.
and my last question for you.
Uh,
We're going to be doing mock drafts very soon, and I'm hoping that you're going to be here to do the mock draft episode.
okay.
Uh, I'll let you know when it is. You can come join the team for a mock draft, and then when it's draft day, we're gonna have you in here because you got the Commanders got number 2 picks, so we're gonna have you second in the lineup or first in the lineup. If there's anything else, thank you for coming on the show.
Sure.
We
Thanks for
hope to have
having me.
you a recurrence of you showing up on the show. And I say, with everything else, ladies and gentlemen, we thank RomeyRome for joining the show. And the Commanders are looking good. We're excited to see how it is. We're excited to see Dallas Cowboys continue to kick themselves in the butt. And I say all that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. We can't all be starters. So the only thing left for you all to do, Boulevard's usually here to say it, but I'm going to say it for you. There's one thing that you all can do. Hit the bench.